Conclusion Part 2, Explanation. The attempt to finish this video series ended a lot like most of what happens in Seattle, Washington, emotionally. I call my counselor I haven't heard from for 3 weeks. I get an answer, she's sick. I get a response, there's no one else to talk to, would I like to leave a message? And then I get more response. Would I like to leave a message again? Repeated. I go to leave a message, I push the buttons, nothing happens. I leave the message, I push the buttons, it doesn't send. I push the button again, it doesn't send. I push the button again, a third time, and it sends. Begging to not have this mental health business organization services get the government to take away my Social Security income, the last source of any glimmer, light of hope remaining. Putting me at risk for death and homelessness next to the drug addicts and the drug dealers and the people who are high and the people who are violent and the people who like blood and guts and hormones and power and control. There's no option to stare straight ahead and solve a problem. There are only rules, laws, restrictive regulations, manly governors, sexy governors, pride flags, Washington state flags, and not a single United States of America flag with some sort of freaking long lost description of freedom. There's nowhere to go. Great, I go get a job. Where do I live? Great, I've got a place to live. How do I afford that place to live? Okay, so I figure out how to afford the place to live. I have 3 jobs. And then finally find only 2 jobs. Okay, I've got 2 jobs. How many hours a week am I working? More than 40? Okay, I got to figure out how to get to those jobs in those amount of hours and so many hours a day with time going by. Each second I wait and can't figure out how to solve the problem. And then I got to go to my medical appointments and I've got to have some insurance to get to those appointments and not be turned away for lack of payment. And along the way, I've got to figure out how to simply find food other than Subway, Dick's, burgers, some restaurant once a week to satisfy that emotional need, and still be aware and have attention to solve an unforeseen problem like somebody who's angry I'm in public and not in some treatment facility for white nationalist racists who wear camouflage in colors like green and don't smoke marijuana and don't do what the cartel leader and their gang associates say I have to in order to safely walk across their street on their sidewalk downtown. There's no more letters to send to the government. There are no places to send letters. A White House? States who don't want to control and lock people down with requirements of standards to meet in order to actually have a home? Prove it. There's no movie anymore. There's no TV show. There's videos, there's websites, and there's internet. And places to go to find a date online. And a Craigslist to get connected with that socially, politically, ethically responsible roommate renter who's in charge of the house. Who say they are the change they wish to see in the world. They are preventing homelessness. And all I've got to do is sign up. Do the paperwork, follow their instructions, go to their meetings, and don't get angry and emotional when they talk about communism and socialism. When they listen to me through my walls, when they silence my voice and they quiet my body, to make that coughing drug addict, liquor-faced, tobacco junkie feel okay. There's no Declaration of Independence. There's no place called Earth. There's no planet. There's ABCs, there's numbers, rooms, in an apartment complex called a house. And there's people who never leave the sanctity of their homes to make the world more green, affordable, and to reduce the climate footprint. Choosing the stimulus from their screen and their electricity and their delivered drugs and their liquor to make their eyes not seize up and dry out. Simply being a Facebook member and a Twitter writer, organizing, sharing their compassion, and telling people like me to shut up safely and securely with the support of their local government. There's no president of the United States. There is a governor called Jay Inslee. There's a governor of California. There is a governor of Oregon. There's a governor of New York City. There is a governor of Michigan. And other parts of this country described as the USA. And possibly more importantly, there are recognizable instructions and descriptions for how to live in this world. And consequences like homelessness and death are the stupidity of the brain, mind, and body not adhering to their truth and facts. described with not only language but pictures, sounds and music and bright shiny lights with deep bass and fat booty, titty, muscle, strength. Organized and kept as a society with colors and symbols and graffiti and traditions like marijuana, meth, no mind, no worry, and hiking a trail and solving a crisis consciously and with such immense precision. There's no nutrition. There's no health degree. There's no college. Unless completed in one swift movement and one decision. Pre-med medical school, science medical school, technology science medical school. To have income, family, friends, a social apartment rather than social housing in some stupid little tiny house or tent out in some jungle encampment, affording that $1 million property, driving a Porsche, being tenured, and then someday being the President of the United States of America, being the governor of the planet called California and Oregon and Washington State, the new hotspot for time travel and legal drugs. So my explanation has more to do with why I started Have You Ever? To accomplish a goal and fulfill a purpose and a dream of going to medical school to be a neurosurgeon. And like any activity requiring energy outside of this kind of closed loop I keep describing over and over, it succeeds once in a while for some folks, but for people like me, it's the peace I need before I die. The end.